My answer, as we start today with this, to the question, why would I ever, bless you, need to do something like this is very simple. There are going to be equations you deal with, whether it's in here, whether it's in a science class, whether it might be in like a business type class, where you're going to have an equation or pieces to a puzzle, and you may want to know a different piece of that. And so this is going to give you the ability to be able to do that. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to take equations that have multiple variables in them, and we're going to solve them for the variable that's asked. But keep in mind what I told you before I even started this video. It's going to be the same steps that you've been doing with equation stuff all along. So here's what I've got to tell you. If you can remember the two things I'm about to put at the top of your notes, you can do every single one of these problems we have. So here's how this works. Somebody answer for me, what's the opposite of adding? Subtracting. Okay, those are opposites. You probably know what I'm coming with next. The opposite of multiply is to divide. If you have those two things up in the noggin or on the paper, you can do every single one of these. Okay? We just got to get over the fact they look a little different. So here's how this works. We're always going to look at the start of the problem to see what variable we are solving for. I would suggest taking one of your colors that you hopefully picked up and boxing the term that has that particular variable in. So here comes the question. Okay, I want y by itself. What am I doing to y currently? Multiplying. So how do I undo it? Divide. How do we want to play this? Let's play it this way. Just like normal, we do it once to each side. So over here, the 2's cancel. There is y equals. Now, when I get over here, okay, in actuality, what I'm doing, I'm just going to rewrite it over here for a sec, is that when I look at the big fraction with it, I'm actually dividing each piece of it by 2. Could you leave it just like this? Yes. Yes, you could. So actually, we'll write it both ways because I want you to know that that's reasonable. So I could do this and be okay if that serves my purpose. Or I also, if it works, what's 4 divided by 2? 2. And 12 divided by 2 is 6. Normally, if you're going to be looking at my answer keys are probably going to be this one. But these actually equal out to the same thing. So you have that as an option. And that's it. Okay, we're not going to try and make this complicated. So again, whatever variable they say, box it in, and then just start thinking about your opposite options. The opposite of minus, follow the arrow over. Now here's the deal on this one. Okay, those cancel out, there's y. Hardy. Does it matter if I do the plus 5 here or the plus 5 here? Yes. Okay, the 5 does not have an x. I can't put it with the x. They're not like terms. I got to keep plain numbers with plain numbers. So we don't do a thing to the x term this time. And then again, if I owe my friend $12 and I pay him back 5, how much do I owe them still? Oops, let's get out of here. No problem with going to the good old calculator if I need to with that. So it's still just opposites, but I do need to realize if something is a like term or if it's not. Solve for y. It will not be y every time. I'll tell you that in advance. So I look. I'm plussing 7x. Go to the opposite. Now here comes our new twist for this one. When we talked on number 2, we talked about how, these are plain numbers. They go together. This doesn't have x. This does. Can I make this negative 3x? No. This has x, this doesn't. This would be like saying I have 4 apples and 7 oranges. So they can hang out together on the same side. They just can't totally intermix. So that's the difference between these two. I've got to find like terms. And if there aren't like terms, they can be on the same side of the equals. They just can't turn into one thing. So you're like, maybe. Oh, Hardy, 3 variables. Ah! No. Solve for D. Okay. Again, what you're doing to your variable is always going to be one of these 4 things. I'm dividing by t. We're going to multiply. It's going to look weird, but stick with me. We're going to multiply both sides by t. On the right, that multiplies whole job is just to get rid of the fraction. And over here, I have t times r. You're like, that is so weird. Is d by itself? Yes. Am I done? Yes. We've got to just get over the idea that this is any different than a regular equation, because it's not. It's the same thing. It's just variables are sitting there that we got to deal with. So, let's take a walk now into the practice part. Bless you. Keep this here. So we're looking and we're like, oh boy. Now, reminder, and I do this every time we see this. Level 1 means they hopefully are going to be a little bit easier, typically 1 step. When we get to level 2, and we're going to do some of those together, more variables, but still the same thing. So for instance, here, I got an idea. I want you guys to help me out with something. Pick 2 of these out for me to do. I don't care which ones they are. And I noticed something here. We got to fix that. That's supposed to be for y. Didn't even put what variable we were solving for. That's not useful. So pick a couple of numbers between 1 and 9. What's that? It's the infamous quiet. 4. One more. What other one besides 4? Okay, 3. You know what? We're going to get a bonus because I see something else I want to make sure we chat about. Okay, so I 3, and I got my examples here. So I'm like, okay, solve for m. Here's where having your examples is a bonus. Those look pretty darn similar to me because they are. So I look and I'm like, hey, I'm dividing m by g. Follow it back to its opposite. M's by itself. Okay, this top section, 1 step. is the max you're going to have to deal with. Okay? Okay, you're like, oh, okay, we'll see. Let's keep looking for things that are similar. Box in that variable. Minus or negative 3x. Follow it back over. So we need to do the opposite. To get that out of there, because again, y wants to be by itself. We want to be respectful of y's wishes. But be careful like we were here. That has x, that doesn't. It's not 21x. They can hang out together, but I have x's, I don't. They have to stay separated from each other. But is that always going to be the case? No. Because if I do 5, I'm like, okay, I'm solving for b. Hardy, I'm doing the exact same thing I did on number 4. Why'd you pick this one? Oh, watch and see. The opposite of minus is plus. But here's the difference. This time, yeah, they both have x's. They have something in common, so I can put them together. 6 x's and 3 more give me 9. So I do have to watch out for that. It's not going to be they're completely different from each other every single time. And so that's what we're looking at up there. So you're like, okay, gotcha. Level 1, easy peasy. I got the, oh my good gosh, what are we doing when we get down here? It's still not bad. Now, you may not believe me when I say that, but it's true. It's not bad. Let's look at a couple. There's like V and pi and R and H and that. Again, whatever variable we're looking for, box it in. Oops. Got to get it on the page. There we go. Box it in. Here's the question. What am I doing to all these terms? I'm multiplying them. I don't see any pluses. I don't see any minuses. I don't see no fractions. So I'm multiplying by all this stuff. So to get this alone, I got to divide by everything that's not in the box. Again, it seems weird, but when you stop to think about it, those all cancel and just leave me with H. And even though it looks like there's no way this could be done because there's all this stuff going on still, the question is H alone? It is. Still only one step. And I'm done. That's what I've got to keep my focus on. Which variable, what's the one thing I got to do to change it up, and then do that. Keep boxing stuff in. Okay, I see the plus in here, so that's a positive 4n that I have to do the opposite of to make it go away. If you notice on the other side that there is a like term over there, notice what I did here. I saw there were n's over here, so I put my minus 4n right under it, so I knew I could put those together. 2 take away 4 is negative 2. Am I taking it from the C, Hardy? No, once per side. And we already took care of it. Right there. B is alone now. Don't keep going. We're not trying to get anything else by itself. We're just trying to get that done. So even though it looks weird, even though it looks strange, even though it's like, Hardy, nope, oh. All right, I'm already hearing a request for 15. I'll come back. I will come back. Let me make a note. Make Make sure I don't forget 15. Okay, note to self. When we get to the back with level 3, okay, these are going to be multi-step. If you struggle here or get stuck, don't just give up and quit. Be like, okay, I might have to come back to those because we'll see them again. But these are going to be more than one step. At least most of them are. I guess I'll put that. Okay. So, let's do... I'll do a couple with you, because I want us to keep thinking. Let me get my help back. Okay. Solve for R. What am I doing to R right now? What's that line there mean? Divide. I'm dividing it by this stuff. Follow back over. Okay? We're going to multiply by t minus 2 on both sides. So on this side, it just cancels. I'm not distributing. I'm not doing anything else like that. Over here, now it's going to look weird. I'm multiplying these together. And if you had the t minus 2 and the s on this side, that's fine. Do I have to distribute? Do I have to? No, R's alone. R is alone. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Again, whatever's being done to what you box in, you just are finding the opposite operation. Now, 17, a little more interesting. Because I look here, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get y alone. Well, Hardy, I'm plussing a and I'm dividing by 3. So now what? Okay, if there's multiplying or dividing to do, we're going to do that first. So we're dividing by 3. We're going to do the opposite and multiply. 3 gets rid of that. I still have the y plus a here. That's okay. And I got 3 times c on this side. But unlike the other ones we've done so far, y is not alone quite yet. I'm plussing a to it. I do my opposite. A is not the same as C. They can hang out together. Can't combine them though. So we just have to make sure, again, if you keep boxing in the variable you're trying to solve for, and just keep doing these opposites, we'll get there. Hardy's diving in for one last little pair here, and then I'm going to get out of the way, and I'll float around, try and help out as best I can. We did a fraction yesterday, so I will not push that on you today. 3, though. Oh, number 3. Reminder. Fraction alone first. Hey, we kind of kids keep going with what we've been going with here. Fraction alone. Opposite. Of plussing 1 is to minus 1. Let's keep going. I want to get x by itself. I'm dividing by 2, sort of like what we did up in number 17. So divide by 2, do my opposite. You kind of see how no matter what it is we're doing, it just keeps coming back to one step at a time, doing opposites, till we get to the end. Now, some of you may be wondering, isn't this the one where we kind of did the cross multiply proportion? You can, but you always want to get that fraction alone first before you would try that. So the only one I have for you today that has nothing to do with the notes, put this over here. One more with these. Again, these are vertical angles, and vertical angles are equal to each other. So all I'm going to leave you with today is this. There's your equation to solve for x, and then you're also going to be finding the measure of your angles So once you know x, you're just going to plug the x number in here, and you're going to be able to tell me what the difference. Reminder of something. I almost went too fast. So we're going to sub the x value in for 5x plus 4, but then, you're like, wait a minute, Hardy. Like, there's nowhere to plug the value in here. What happens when two angles make a straight line? That's 180. So here, okay, we're going to do 180 minus whatever answer we get for our QT. Because if I know what this angle is, and I know the whole thing here is 180, because it's a straight angle, that's what my mystery value is going to be right there. So as always,